Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. A film that would go on to inspire a genre, and this film's iconography is still a film that defined the future past. Sci-fi as we know it simply didn't exist before Blade Runner, folks. There was no science fiction film like Blade Runner. There was always a polished future, the pristine, polished future. And we didn't have a lived-in future until Ridley Scott gave us Blade Runner. Now it's often imitated. I don't have much time, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and introduce our fantastic guest here. So I want to present to you this unprecedented cast reunion of the masterpiece that is Blade Runner. Please help us welcome with a round of applause here, Kevin Thompson, ladies and gentlemen. Kevin Thompson.
The other guys here too. That was the guy.
Next up we have Joanna Cassidy, ladies and gentlemen. Please help us welcome Joanna Cassidy. Zora. Next we have William Sanderson, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. J.F. Sebastian. Next we have Sean Young. We have Rachel here, folks. Rachel's here today with us. Thank you. And last but certainly not least, Rutger Hauer. Folks, Roy Batty is here today. Thank you all for being here. I very much appreciate it. Now, I promised my wife that I wouldn't geek out too much and monopolize the conversation. So I'm going to try to get through this as quick as possible. Plus, we only have 15 minutes, so trying to fit 35 years of lore into 15 minutes is going to be tough. But we're going to make this happen. She was very specific that the panel's audience and the audience get a chance to speak. So I'll say I'll get through some prepared questions. I don't have my void comp test. They wouldn't let me bring it in through the security, so I'm going to do my best to question them and just power through this. We also have a few questions selected from various online fan groups, and I'd also like to field some questions from the audience. I'm sure you will have questions. No? A couple people? Okay, fantastic. I appreciate the time you've all taken out of your busy schedules to be here with us today, making this such a momentous occasion. It's been a special year indeed for the Blade Runner franchise, as we've been given a sequel finally. And although I do very much appreciate 2049, and we do have a few questions in the regard, we're mostly going to try and focus on the original. So let's go ahead and do that. Now, I have a question, and if I can ask you all to answer this one at a time, that would be fantastic. On the set, did you feel the strains and stresses of the film going over budget? How did it affect you as actors? I'll start with you, sir.
No, I really didn't feel that stress. I wasn't on as long as everybody else was. There was some, and you read about all the stresses later on. I didn't realize it was just another movie going on at the time. I just remember the stresses of the smoke. There's a lot of smoke on that.
I felt the stress. I came on last in the movie. They had to get everything done in the short time that I had to do it. And at the end, when Zora dies, and I had one shot at doing it. And Rutger had his scene after me, and they were closing the shop down. And at the end, when I pressed the squib when I was dying and the blood came out, I had to press it exactly on my mark. There was not going to be a retake, and the sun was coming up, and it was really frightening. I had one shot at it. And we never got to shoot the snake dance but I did do it years later. You can look for it.
It's called What Might Have Been, folks. It's a fantastic homage to the Zora character, and if you get a chance, it's really a delight for all the fans. Please.
I didn't feel the stress of getting behind a narcissist who only thinks of himself, and so I didn't pay much attention. But I had to wear 2 hours of makeup, and as it got hotter toward the summer, that was a problem. But I was just happy to be there. That's all.
Hello? Hello. I knew everything that was going on in this movie all the time. I knew it was $45 million, and I knew Michael Dealey was really afraid that we were going over budget, and I used to ask him all kinds of questions all the time. And then I even talked to him after the movie came out, and I said, so how did it do? And he was really disappointed that it didn't make $1 gazillion million the first weekend, but he got over it after about 10 years.
Yeah, sometimes it's what it takes, you know, a lot of pressure. And I peed my panties, but that was all right.
Okay.
I was actually going to ask about Michael Dealey next, but Ms. Young already mentioned Michael Dealey, so we'll pass that. What was it like working for Ridley Scott? He's been called the actor's director. How do you feel about it personally?
Personally, I love the guy because I started as a street extra. He wrote that whole thing offhand. That was my very, very first line ever in movies, Home Again, Jiggity Jake. I'm very lucky because I can say that to a director in an audition, and the guy's eyes go wide and go, "Oh my God!" And many times that's a cue to actually I get the job because I've worked on Blade Runner and with Ridley Scott. So with me, we had a great time sharing scotch in the rain many times.
I had a great time. Ridley took good care of me. I felt like he was very into how the women in the movie looked and went to great lengths to make all the women beautiful, even the extras. And the end result is I was really very pleased. I thought that Zora became something that was never on the page.
Remember the girl who ran the speakeasy where they were hiding like right behind
Rachel Priss.
That was
Zora really
It was
rocked.
like a 1950s hair and stuff.
I was grateful to work with Ridley, and especially when he would give me some fun direction, whisper in my ear. He once said, "This is a totally innocent man." That's liberating, whether it's a lie or not. But he's a saint, and here's my dad.
He's a manipulative cocksucker. No, I'm kidding. Just kidding, Ridley. He kind of isolated me. I thought it was kind of difficult. He kept me in my little trailer, my little wooden box all the time, and wouldn't let me come out, so that I eventually had to bribe the second assistants for a radio so I would know when they wanted me, so I could rush back to my little box and pretend I'd been in it for the last 2 hours. So, yeah, no, he's a great guy. I love Ridley.
Yeah. But this film means the world to me. I'm sure you understand why, but there are more reasons. But I could make a documentary about that, really. He made me dance, and I think I made him dance too when we shot the movie. And we were about, the only two who had a less of a bad time. I didn't have a bad time in that movie at all. Of course I feel distressed, but you need that sometimes. It needs, if it wasn't for Ridley's stubborn vision, this movie wouldn't be here. And I think it's great that it's still there for 40 years or something. So he's a rock. What can I say?
Thank you.
We need some questions from the audience.